Man, WrestleMania 41 sucked. The world's a better place because you are here to join us. My name is Matt Brown, and I'm the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. And it is a Sunday, April 20th, 2025. We are instantly reacting to WrestleMania 41. It's me and Ryan on the call tonight. What's going on, Ryan? Let us react to what we just saw.
How's it going, man? Yeah, no, I watched all of WrestleMania today. I didn't watch yesterday because I was busy. So I've watched 6 hours straight of professional wrestling. Tired. But I feel like it's good because I can maybe, I don't have a gap. I saw everything directly in line. But
Perfect. So we got so much stuff to talk about too with Ryan, and we got Jose in the building. What's up, Jose?
What's up?
I'm in a been better mood. I feel like not as bad as some playoff losses in my team, actually the teams,
Hmm.
but I'm more annoyed. More
Why?
annoyed because this is WrestleMania 41 will be Asslemania. And before we get into my thoughts on that and Ryan and Jose's different thoughts, just to remind you to like and subscribe to the Productive Conversations podcast on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. And don't forget to check out exclusive content regarding the show across all social media platforms. On Instagram at Productive Conversations Podcast, X Twitter at Procavo Pod, TikTok at Productive Conversations, and Facebook at Productive Conversations. And don't you forget to check out our presenting sponsor, Magic Mind, the Ultimate Elixir Company. Go to get your green tea shots to improve your memory and sharpen your focus. And go to magicmind.com/PCLT20 for 40% off your first subscription or 20% off your first one-time purchase. And if only these writers could have taken some Magic Mind and have better focus on not to have such a boring WrestleMania. So you know how I feel, and my predictions were wrong. I don't mind standing corrected. So good work for Ryan and Jose nailing what you nailed. I didn't go, but for me personally, I don't know if you guys agree, but I know the internet agrees with me that WrestleMania 41 was a disappointment with no aura, predictable, and unentertaining. From John Cena, from a main event that will go down as one of the most mid and boring ones. Well, we had a solid WrestleMania streak since the pandemic of good WrestleManias, heck, great WrestleManias. So I guess by default the streak was going to end, but too bad it was in Las Vegas this year. So my initial thoughts is that I thought WrestleMania 41 was crap, and I am very disappointed. Ryan, I think you dodged a bullet for actually going all the way out there. At least if I
Mm.
was you. But yeah, that sucked. I listen again, I don't mind being wrong. I'm wrong. There's plenty of times where I'm wrong in predictions for the show, whether in the world of pop culture or sports. But at least give me something good. Give me a great send off. Give me something that says something, something that matters. But the way that ended, that sucked ass. That's the main event specifically. We could go to there. We could go into that. I thought the show was boring, but tell me your initial thoughts on the shows. Please be honest.
you and me, Jose.
You can go first.
Yeah, so I mean, I think crap is harsh. I would disagree strongly with crap. That being said, I agree with part of the sentiment, which is we have had a fairly strong lineup of post-pandemic WrestleManias, and this one does not live up to uh, that lineage. It did, and maybe that was partly on the fans online in particular. There was like an up and up and up sort of mindset that every WrestleMania was going to be better than the last. I don't believe it would be fair to say that 41 was better than 40. It was not.
Not even close.
It just yeah, not night one, not night two. There were matches that were great. I mean, like I said, I think that the overall consensus is stupid because I do think it's ignoring things that were quite good for things that people just didn't like as much. As an example, I don't know that they've ever had a better start to WrestleMania than tonight's triple threat. That might be the
That's
best
true.
first match of Mania ever. Best kickoff of Mania possibly ever. And again, I will say, and this is unrelated to the booking, Las Vegas absolutely fucking sucked. That was a horrible crowd. Horrible from the first night to the obviously to the main event. They were cheering whoever they wanted, booing whoever they wanted, and obviously, yeah, you bought your ticket, do what you want. But like they were dead for no reason, and then they get all fired up for absolutely just any random thing. It was ridiculous. Um, and it does mess with the show. Like I said, I think part of the reason that the main event, well, there's two reasons the main event wasn't as good as past main events are. Number one, and this everyone knew this. This is not new. John Cena is limited. He was limited when he was on top, right? So they should have, and they did actually. They booked a match that was decently around Cena's skill set. I think the primary problem was even with booking the match to be in Cena's wheelhouse, he still kind of looked a little off. Maybe they needed to rehearse it more. I don't know what the deal was with that. But they didn't book a crazy hard match for that, and he was still a little off. The STFUs were weak. Um, Obviously, it didn't matter because that's not what tapped Cody out, but still. That's number one. And then number two is that, I mean, they both got booed at the beginning. Then Cena was getting cheered, Cody's getting booed. Then Cody was getting cheered because Travis Scott came out, and then they cheered for Cena at the end. It was just it didn't make any sense. The whole point was that Cena was done with these people. I now there's a meta thing to this which we won't get into. I'm gonna write about it. We're gonna find out where I can put it because I've pitched it 3 times. I've been told no 3 times, but I'm gonna find somebody who's gonna publish it. But anyway, I will say that I think the show was fine. I think looking at this year so far, obviously 2025, just early. This is on par with the rest of the mat with the PLEs. I don't think that this is some miraculously worse show than Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. If I have to guess, Backlash will be roughly the same. That being said, this is WrestleMania, and last year's WrestleMania was one of the best ever. So like this was a hard year to have such a dip
Yeah,
because
right.
it wasn't like it's not like, oh, you had a really good Mania last year and then this one wasn't so good. You had possibly the best Mania, certainly the best Mania in a long time, maybe one of the best ever, and then you have what is essentially a fine pay-per-view as your next WrestleMania after that. That to me is that the difference between those two is what's really killing it right now. I don't believe the show is nearly as bad as people are saying, but I think the quality difference between the build and the show we got last year and this year is souring it even more with fans who got really excited after last year. And also, yeah, I cannot stress enough that if Vegas ever gets another PLE, I may not watch it. That was possibly one of the worst audiences I've ever encountered watching wrestling in my entire life. Truly one of the worst. And I cannot stress it enough. If you're from Las Vegas and you were there, you should be disappointed in yourself. And if you're not, that probably explains why you're one of the worst fans that maybe have ever gone to a professional wrestling show. Also, if you're an AEW fan today, an idiot.
You're
You're
crying.
you're you're an idiot. Like because I've seen that too. Like, oh, AEW is, Dynamite was better than WrestleMania. Dynamite was not better than anything. Bob Ross reruns is better than Dynamite. Okay, so let's just put that out there. But this was still a pay-per-view. It still felt like a pay-per-view, but it did not feel like a special pay-per-view, which WrestleMania should. And it certainly didn't feel like it was even approaching WrestleMania 40 in terms of, build and hype and delivering on, the matches, etc. But there were some genuine highlights in my opinion.
Man, you guys are really harsh. I said this in the beginning of the previous show. This is a predictable card. If you really look at it, all right, how many
I'm fine with predictable. That
well, I'm
wasn't my
saying
issue.
if you look, but it's not entertainment. You're not, there's no surprises. I think the biggest surprise out of the whole fucking thing was, all right, Becky Lynch, which we kind of figured that was happening.
Joe Hendry, right?
Joe Henry was all right, I'll give you that one, but that wasn't that really, I mean, it wasn't
It's
knock
fine.
your socks off
Yeah.
type shit. And then probably the biggest one, the biggest surprise of them all is the one guy that didn't show up that everybody predicted to show up, The Rock.
Yeah.
So honestly, and I think you're a little harsh on Vegas, on the Vegas per se, because WrestleMania is international. It's all over the place.
Well,
Everybody comes all over the world.
fair enough, but
Maybe.
they were in Vegas, so Vegas
Oh,
has to eat this
yeah,
one.
well, for that, I'll give you that. But I mean,
Stick to stay as a UFC town.
but it's not a
Something.
UFC town.
Not
I
a
mean,
UFC. I mean,
it's
they
not
booed Dana White.
right. It's not a UFC. It hasn't been a UFC town in years. I mean, how many cards do they have that's really in Vegas nowadays? It's not
They've,
that many.
they do a few a year, right?
They do
But
a few. They do the most out of all the cities, but mainly you go to England. Their route, like they're the best crowds in the UFC are in England, somewhere from fucking far away Brazil. Um, I just think that the three things that kind of came to mind was that was predictable, which is fine.
yeah, I don't care about predictable. That's
The,
fine.
the storyline going up to it was kind of lackluster compared to last year, which was all right. Some of them were all right, but some of them you could tell they just put it together at the end.
Yeah.
Like I said, I truly think that whole John Cena thing shifted at the beginning of the year, shifted what they had planned for what they had were going to plan from last year to this year, all shift, and you can just totally see that's where it's going. And third, and not least, some of the wrestlers didn't show up that like the ones that do the banger matches. Let's be honest, Sami Zayn didn't show up. Kevin Owens hurt. I mean, you put those two like
He's
in
gonna be
separate
roasted
matches.
instead.
Yeah, those two always delivers quality matches, and you instead of got Joe Henry and you
Yeah,
got other people like
I
certain
got it.
wrestlers
The Joe
weren't
Hendry
there.
thing is, I mean, listen, everyone popped and it's fun and it's fine, right? And it is fine because everybody enjoyed that it was him. That being said, and obviously maybe they thought that the rest of the show was going to land a little better than it did. Apparently, Jeff Hardy was being rumored for the spot. Obviously, we had a bunch of guesses with Aldis, Rusev, Aleister Black. If you haven't had like a solid run of things, you can't do a Joe Hendry squash match. And that's what it was. It was a comedy match. It was fun. Randy Orton got his 20th WrestleMania. They obviously had to do something. But I'm just like in my mind, I'm like, if you know that the show has not really been delivering, it's not really been firing on all cylinders. You've got Randy Orton, who is one of the most complete professional wrestlers of all time. Do not send a comedy act out there.
Yeah,
Send
right.
someone else. At
For
that, at this
respect.
point, if even if you didn't call anyone else, and no one else there, you go to Carmelo Hayes and catering and say, get your trunks on. You've got to have a 20 or a 15-minute match
Nah,
with
so
Randy Orton.
I say I disagree with you on that one. I
I
mean,
get
Carmelo Heads is a stretch. I'd rather have Joe Henry. At least it was a nice surprise. I'll give you a jolt to the crowd, even though the
But that
reaction of the
jolt
crowd.
disappeared. Like
Yeah,
that's what I
but
mean.
you weren't gonna get that with fucking Carmelo Hayes at all. You weren't
But
gonna
if they
get
had a good
crickets.
match, it might actually have
But
kept
you
the
weren't
crowd more
you
interested.
but you weren't gonna get a good match from
Yeah.
Those two can't have a bad match.
Randy
Jeff
Orton.
Hardy would have been nice.
Jeff Hardy would
No,
have been
you can't
cool.
you can't
Best
even
of
trust.
both worlds.
Oh, come on now. Dude, that guy can't even fucking
They
wrestle in
would no,
TNA.
no. But listen, honestly though, Jose, the difference is, and we saw it when the Hardys came to NXT. WWE is willing to let the Hardys look good against their current roster. So Jeff Hardy would not have been squashed in the 5 minutes that Joe Hendry was. You know what I mean?
Are we seriously saying right now the 2025 Jeff Hardy is more over than Joe Henry?
No, no, I said WWE would book the match differently if it was Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy.
No, they're gonna book it just like TNA did with him, Jeff Hardy versus Sting. 2 second match, call it a
No,
day.
no, they wouldn't have done that.
I do want
And
to
they
get
wouldn't have
into
done that.
this,
But anyway,
but I do
yeah.
think a
Let's
lot
do
of
it.
people want to hear right away the thoughts with Cena and Cody Rhodes in that 21-minute
Oh,
uneventful match, which
but
you
see,
were right, Jose, and I was wrong. I'll stay
I know.
corrected there.
Well, I
Let's
tell
start
you,
with
but
that.
that let me say this for all you on Matt people out there. It was scripted for that way. He's not gonna give you a fucking 5-star banger, and he's gonna give you everybody talk shit. He had 5 moves of doom.
Yeah,
And as a heel, he's going to exploit that. He's not
yeah,
going to give you all suddenly give you, let me add more moves to my repertoire. No, he wants you to hate him. So he wants you to give the 5 moves of doom, be boring as fuck, bland as fuck. and you get more heat on him. So
Can you?
I
I understand that part,
it
but
worked.
can you at least make it entertaining?
How
That's up
could
to
you
the
make?
writers. I don't know. That's up to the writers to do it. And I
I
don't
mean,
think Travis Scott is the answer for that.
so
For
yeah,
this
so I'm gonna
over the limit, you might
so
as well
I'm
call it
gonna
over the limit
yeah.
WWE pay-per-view.
So I'm gonna say I'm with Jose mostly in that the hate the match is getting is weird. The Cena was gonna win.
It
He
would
was
still
gonna
have to
be a
be entertaining,
heel.
especially. I'll tell you one
I
thing.
hear
If I'm
you,
trying to
but
show, I don't mean to interrupt, but like trying to show the casual fans that that's what you got, they have every reason to make fun of wrestling
Hold
still
on,
after
you see
that.
you're
you if you
wrong.
show a casual fan that, that would be a poor decision. I agree, but that's not the match wasn't for that. If you haven't been following since I mean, frankly, well before Elimination Chamber, then this match has got absolutely nothing for you because this match is about the build up in the story. This match was about the fact that Cody Rhodes was facing off against a heel John Cena trying to win a 17th title. That was the entirety of the match. The actual wrestling was not particularly relevant to this match. I will say, though, they clearly thought they had a big angle for the end of the show in this Travis Scott thing, and that's not what happened.
Yeah,
And
they
so,
really think that he was going to be the needle mover, Travis
right.
Scott of all
Mm,
And so
people.
Uh,
I don't
Jesus
understand
Christ. You should have might as well
what
gotten
they're doing.
Kendrick
Yeah.
and Drake to throw all that money, if anything. I'm
But
serious
yeah.
though.
So, well, I mean, he did this again. He did the thing, so it makes sense that he'd be there, but not in the end. He was not a big enough surprise to be the thing that,
It
everyone
changes
remembers.
the whole
Travis
thing.
Scott. Yeah.
Travis
And
Scott.
this I would
And I
say that
love
Travis
Travis Scott.
Scott, yeah. I mean, he's fine. I know a couple of his songs, but
Like I said, he's been on my Spotify Warped for the last 5 years as a
yeah.
top artist.
the problem
So
is
like
with the problem. Let me just the problem. I'll let you get to what you're saying. The problem is, all honesty, they did not mention or reference The Rock being there.
yeah.
If they would have just said The Rock not gonna be there tonight, or Rock would have made a statement or some shit that he's not there, because let's be honest, we all thought, all right, Travis Scott's gonna come out, but Rock's still gonna come right after him. And while we were waiting, nobody saw that as the true finish. They're like everybody's like kind of with their dick in
Mhm.
their hands. It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this?
No, I think, and that's kind of what I'm saying. It's that
All right.
nobody felt like Travis Scott was the big payoff. He wasn't, he's not,
Maybe
frankly, even
Triple
if
H
they had
did.
thought that, well, yeah, clearly somebody in the writing room did, but
Yeah,
I would say that the Travis Scott experiment has failed. I understand that he's going to
like
be
crazy.
part of whatever's happening with John Cena. And if he's going to be a hanger on or whatever, then that's fine. But whatever role they had in mind for Travis Scott in this main event storyline for John Cena's last, his retirement tour needs to be scaled down in a way that's frankly like
Embarrassed.
ginormous. They need to take whatever it was they were planning and scale it back by like 20%, 30%, easy. And like that's baseline because he's not a needle mover. Nobody cared. Again, the only time Cody got cheered in that match when he beat up Travis Scott. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think he's
so
doing his job though,
yeah, I
in that
know that,
sense.
but what I'm saying is like it was a crowd that wanted Cena, was behind Cena the whole time, and they still didn't like Travis Scott, even
All
though
right.
he was with Cena. So that's what I mean. Like, yeah, he was doing his job, except for the rest of the time, everybody was shitting on Cody and cheering for Cena. And again, that's by the way where I come with my, listen, I won't pretend I don't like it. I won't pretend that it doesn't, tickle the loins, as they say. When Dana White got booed by his hometown, when Tony Hinchcliffe got booed after that ridiculous Big E joke. Obviously, I don't like these macho people, these macho celebrities that WWE has strongly ingratiated itself with, by the way. And I think this WrestleMania was part of that process. And I think that's part of the reason why it was a little bit kind of down. But that's not neither here nor there. We'll talk about that
And
offline.
bad PR.
But I do know that, yeah. But I do know that they booed it seemed random. The boos seemed random. Like night one, even they booed Roman Reigns and they booed Seth Rollins and they cheered CM Punk. But then all of a sudden they were Team CM Punk. Like you know what I mean? Like there was all kinds of obviously the Bianca Belair boos. Fairness, that's been happening for a while, but that is what it is. It's just the crowd was dead when no matter basically the crowd was dead half the time, then the other half the time they were booing somebody randomly. And I think that hurt it too. But no, the Travis Scott thing is a failure. It's not worked. It won't work. It's not going to work at any point in time.
I already
Cody got his
disagree with you on
hands.
that.
You don't think Travis Scott's work? You think Travis Scott's working?
I think you got the yeah, it is because if you got the crowd to cheer fucking Cody Rhodes, it's working.
I mean, I don't know how to say this delicately, but the crowd has cheered Cody Rhodes loudly
And
for a year. This
you
is the first
the
time in an entire
okay,
year that the crowd booed Cody Rhodes.
you
So
but
Cody Rhodes is not a problem. I understand that's where we're going to go. Cody's a boring babyface. Yes, I hear you. You're wrong, and I hear you. Cody has gone a year with, frankly, one of the most mid-title reigns ever. Like, it's fine. Like, it's just middle of the road. He had some good opponents. He had some bad opponents. All the matches have been good. Most of the promos have been okay, but like it's just been a thing. He's done that for a year straight after coming off the biggest main event in years, and he still hasn't lost like most of the crowd. This was the first time in a year after a mid-reign that the crowd even contemplated turning on Cody, and they still went bonkers for his entrance. They just booed him afterward. So no, Travis
and
Scott was not
and
doing his job to
and it
get
was
Cody
over for,
cheered.
and it's Travis Scott as one of the main reasons for that. Not even another wrestler you can make a star, or you could create an antagonist
Well,
for
the only good
Cody.
news is Cody did lay Travis Scott out, and so my hope is that means Cody got his just desserts, and we
We're
can
gonna have a tough year, guys, in
move Travis
WWE.
out
mhm.
of the out of the picture. But yeah, I mean I like the idea of the Cena championship reign. I again the finish was
Yeah, I
good,
don't even mind that either.
and I hope is a strong word now because I'm worried because they've been making really dumb decisions, and again I really do think it's because they don't currently know who their audience is, and they're
Yeah,
playing to the wrong audience, and it's not going to work. But provided they can course correct and remember that last year worked because it was the closest WWE has come to like frankly real television in a long time. Whereas this year was just, I mean, this year was UFC. There was 962 celebrities. We had to see a celebrity after every match, at least one, if not more.
not even.
We, and it was, it was all, basically it was all facade. It was all masculine facade, the entire thing. And it didn't work. Nobody cared because it wasn't interesting. It was a mile wide and skin deep. And so last year wasn't. It was the opposite. Last year felt like there was a real story for the first time in a long time in pro wrestling. So
Yes,
if they do that with Cena, and they could, Cena's a good actor
if he
and
shows
it's an
up.
interesting role. Well, he'll show up enough. It'll be fine. Then there could be a really fun story here, but at this point I'm nervous about what this is going to look like. Is it just going to be random celebrities siding with John Cena because John Cena is famous in his last, whatever? I don't know. And if that's the
At
case,
least
this
make
is
it
going
a
to be
cool
horrible.
celebrity, not Travis
No, that
Scott.
not even a cool. I'm sorry, not even a cool celebrity. That there should be nothing to do with celebrities in this story.
Yeah, I agree there. I was saying if you do that. Oh man, what Jose, your more thoughts on that? You really think Travis Scott's gonna work? Because after a night like
It
tonight,
already did.
after a night like tonight, the Saudi WrestleMania doesn't seem like a bad idea, and I'm
Saudi
serious
WrestleMania
in
is
Listen,
that.
happening.
So
That's happening.
after that, after what we saw, they can have it. After that, if I'm
oh,
gonna
No, I
you
get
didn't.
the,
No,
saw
I
the
didn't say
if
that.
Saudi
I'm
guy
The
last,
Saudi, this yeah, the
yeah,
Saudi head of finance was there. So yeah, no,
right.
that's
so
happening. That's locked
what?
in.
If I'm gonna get crap wrestling like that, they can have it. Three
Again,
3 o'clock in the
I
afternoon
wouldn't call the
Saturday.
wrestling crap. I don't believe that that's uh, a
If
fair
I could
judgment
get
of the in ring quality. But
I don't even know. I'm only going to say crap for lack of a better word for now. I think it's crap, but I understand your opposing opinion and I respect it. But yeah, dude. And if you're going to talk about, I don't know if we talk about online, if we're going to set this up for a SummerSlam, Bad Bunny versus and Cody versus Cena and Travis Scott, that is where I'll give up. But I love Bad Bunny. That is where
yeah, I mean,
I will cover this show. I will turn it to I will cover wrestling for the sake of, wrestling because eventually it'll be good again, I think by default, but I'll be like a hey, it's like when Mad Dog covered was a New York sports radio host, Christopher Mad Dog Russo for 20 years, and he hated the New York sports teams. That is soon gonna be me covering wrestling. At
I'd
least
argue you're
WWE
basically
wrestling.
already. I would argue you're basically already there. But
Fine, fine, we'll take that.
um,
Somebody has to be the heel in this.
Right. But yeah, there's not much more to say about the main event. I thought it was a weird match. I thought it was in the ring was fine, a little slow. I wish it was a little bit faster. And again, that doesn't mean more high spots or anything, Jose. Do what they did, but a little bit faster. I think
Hmm.
that would have made it look more realistic, especially Cena's part of it. But other than that, it felt like it was just on half speed, which is not great, but it's
Half
not the end of
speed
the
this.
world. But the Travis Scott being the big ending to me was a misstep.
The
One
big
that,
ending. We waited a whole year
yeah,
for Travis Scott
yeah,
to play a
correct.
vital role.
Yeah, that to me, and I know they've been threatening, and I say threatening very much on purpose, that he was going to be a big part of wrestling, WWE now, and
And they were serious. That's
they
our
were
fault for
serious,
calling
turns out. And more importantly than them being serious, I need someone who has some sway to go to whoever it is backstage. That's a huge Travis Scott mark. Because somebody up high clearly loves this dude and be like, hi, not working.
Oh, at least I'll tell you something. And I've seen Travis Scott perform. One of the best concerts I've ever seen in my life. He has
Mhm.
genuinely one of the best stage presence as Travis Scott, the performer I've ever seen,
Yeah.
both in a full arena and on a big field. That guy knows how to pump up a crowd, even in the cell phone era. But
Hmm.
his wrestling character is
It's horrible. Yeah.
insane. That's what, like, if you put Travis Scott again, how he performs in there, then maybe you have something. Because again, I'm not in a
He's a
world where people,
creative guy too. So
yeah,
like,
but
but
this is
he's
just
not, yeah, he
this isn't
struck out
him.
on this.
This is
Yeah.
I think his real name is Jaquez. This is Jaquez.
Not even. This is, I don't know
Not
what
even.
this is.
Uh we're we're really building up for that tag team.
Yeah. No, I don't think we are, but God, if we are, that's horrible.
I got nothing else to say before we move on. Jose, you have anything else to say?
Well,
Maybe you
keep
low
doing the
key
good work,
like it.
Travis Scott. I do like Travis.
You
Keep
do
going.
like it.
I can't
It's
believe
keep
Jose
it.
is going to be the baby face on this podcast.
Listen,
That's
Not
there's
even baby.
crazy.
We're gonna make up a word.
all honesty. Travis Scott is doing his job. It's keeping Cody Rhodes a face. That's all
He
it's
didn't,
doing.
that they didn't need him to do that, but
He was being
Exactly.
booed through the whole night.
Might as
he
well.
got booed after the Travis Scott thing. He got cheered exactly one time. It's because
Okay,
nobody
but
likes
that's my
Travis
point.
Scott.
But you're going against heel John Cena. Everybody wants it.
You're
Every so
also going against John Cena going for 17, dude.
let me. I get what you're
Incorrect.
saying.
You're wrong.
I get what you're saying, and I put any money. They're gonna still cheer the shit out of him.
And they're gonna.
Let's
Oh
be.
no!
Let's
And tomorrow they're gonna
get.
boo Cody Rhodes again. I'm with you. I
They're
understand.
gonna start booing up.
Why? Because Las Vegas is shit. They're bad. They were a bad crowd. They'll be a bad crowd tomorrow.
And guess what happens with wrestling crowds? That shit gets contagious like a motherfucker. Once they start
Nah,
seeing
nah.
them boo, everybody's gonna start booing.
You just
Let's
get. Hey, you know what?
can we
You
be
just
re-
give one Cody J Uso tag team, and now we're all back in good graces.
can we be yeah
And I'll even like that.
can
You
we
know what?
be
Now,
even can we be even like can we even admit that kind of Cody Rhodes is kind of getting stale now? Like the chase
No.
was great. Him being champion was mid.
I'll stand on that, but I don't know if Ryan.
He oh, of course the one and
No,
only
hold on.
Ryan.
I'm not saying that I disagree with either of those things. I think the chase was great, and I already said that the championship reign was just fine. It was
Mid.
there.
So
It
guess
was
what?
meh. But
Not
I
as
don't
many
believe
people are gonna
he's getting
vote.
stale. I think that they just didn't have anything for him. The stories that we were telling on SmackDown were basically the bloodline because Roman Reigns came back and Roman Reigns was the biggest star on SmackDown. They decided that his stories took precedent. And in fairness, that's going to continue now after night one's main event. But that was what happened is Cody became the second babyface on SmackDown because Roman Reigns, who was the top heel to his top babyface, turned face. So like there's nothing you can do about that. He got beat. Roman Reigns is a bigger star than Cody Rhodes. I'll admit that as a huge Cody fan. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's not that he was getting stale, it's that they weren't really doing anything with him. Whenever they gave him something with Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, he killed it. They just barely gave him it. They gave him Solo Sikoa the rest of the time, and that was basically to build to Roman Reigns. And so, Solo didn't even make it to the WrestleMania card. He was challenging for the WWE title for most of Cody's reign. Didn't even
Yeah,
make it on the
right.
card. So that's what I mean. Like he just didn't have anything, and that's whatever. He's better. Obviously, he's better chasing because he's a babyface, and babyfaces are almost always better chasing. But he was fine as a champion. I don't believe the character is getting stale. I think his title reign was getting stale because they hadn't done anything with it. So I'm glad that it's over. I hope, frankly, after this fiasco of an ending, they actually do bump him away from the WWE title for a bit because he's gonna lose again. Cena's not losing it right away. So like, give John Cena somebody else. You know what I mean?
Johnson's fighting Orton.
That's what I'm saying. Basically that is what I'm saying. And if you want to have one overlap, Cody and Randy with Cena at Backlash, fine. But then shift to Randy and Cena separate. Get Cody doing something else with someone else.
Solo.
No, just for the love of God, don't make it Solo.
It's gonna be Solo.
No, do
We're
freaking
gonna
Logan Paul again. Don't do
I'll do
Solo.
that.
Is Logan Paul on Raw? Logan Paul's Raw.
Logan Paul could be wherever, dude.
Exactly.
Oh, here we go with this.
He's Logan Paul. His freaking
That's
logo.
where triple
Yeah.
and
His
let's
logo
Kobe
is in
go
the
what he
middle of
wants.
all of the Raw and SmackDown
Again,
rings.
it's Solo. We all know it's Solo.
It's not Solo. Solo is working with Solo. You're
Who?
wrong. It's
Okay,
not
go
Solo.
ahead. Then who?
Oh, the Jacob Fatu and Solo. That's the next thing. Whatever
Yeah,
Jacob's doing is what Solo's doing.
obviously they're slow playing that to SummerSlam. They're not gonna rush that. It's Solo. Let's be honest.
I ain't even excited for SummerSlam.
Solo is
in my
not.
backyard.
Why would Solo go after Cody? Cody doesn't have the title.
Cody,
Solo's going after Jay.
Here, okay, I'm gonna help you out. Solo,
Nope, you
Jay's
don't have
on
to.
Raw.
Then they trade them. We're gonna draft in like 2 weeks. They're gonna trade them.
Is there a draft? Has that been announced?
There always is a draft.
Who knows
Forever,
anymore?
all the time.
Who knows what they're telling us?
I am telling you, it's Solo. It's easy.
How is it
Okay.
easy? Solo wants the world title, so he's going
I
to fight
will-
Cody Rhodes for no
it's
reason.
Solo.
This is not WWE WrestleMania related. We're going to move on to more WrestleMania, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. I think it'd be insanely stupid for Solo to decide
No, you see SmackDown.
I'm going after Cody Rhodes for no reason other than Jose said I have to. That's crazy. But anyway,
Can I
more
say one
WrestleMania matches.
last thing on this? And The Rock's been one of my favorite people ever. But if really this direction was because of Rock's showing
Not
up
coming,
whenever he
yeah.
wants, then it's not even worth it anymore, and it kind of hurts his legacy. And
Nah,
even
he-
I think like Triple H is tired of it. He didn't mention him in his 8-hour speech. Didn't mention The Rock once. And I mean, in serious, in all seriousness, you'd think
know.
that he has a good reason to.
I will say this, by the way. The Triple Vince stuff I disagree with. But Triple H, in my opinion, he went out over his skis a tad bit
Yes.
this week. I think he thought that he's I think he started to believe the kind of meme that he could do no wrong. And we saw
Yep.
that he can do wrong. And I say this again, I've always been fairly, positive on his booking. It's still better than Vince. He could have a stroke and still probably rank a better show than Vince. But I think he started to believe his own hype just a little bit too much. I think he needs to reel
Success
it
went
back.
to his head.
Yeah, he needs to reel it back in a little bit. Go back to when he was the hungry new guy who was trying to make sure that people were excited about his product. Because this week in general was a bad week for WWE, and I don't care what anybody says.
The irony
this week was a
of the
bad
most
week for WWE, and this show could have fixed that, frankly, and it didn't. Again, I'm not calling it bad. I'm not calling it crap. I said it was fine, but with the week they had, and after last year's WrestleMania, you put those two together, and then you cap it off with this show. All of that is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the guys or girls on the card or even the writing for the card. I'm talking about they had a bad week and they needed a big finish, and they did not get a big finish. They got a fine pay-per-view.
All right.
PLE, whatever.
This was WrestleMania 40 Saturday Night's Fever. This is Saturday Night's Fever 2 Electric Boogaloo. Oh, man. Oh, no, Cars 1 and Cars 2. That makes more sense for the viewer. It really is.
Oh, so you
Well,
guys
not
are
even
really
Cars.
harsh
Well,
on
no,
this
I shouldn't
part.
even say that because Cars 1 wasn't that good. I
like Cars.
I'll figure one. But it's not
Original
like
Cars is fine.
I can't pick Toy Story because all the Toy Stories are amazing. I can't pick
They are.
Monsters Inc. They're all amazing. Can't pick I guess we could do Finding Nemo and Finding Dory for this one.
Sure.
That's a
Okay.
better one.
Finding Nemo is obviously WrestleMania 40 in this particular
Yeah,
case. Yeah.
exactly.
You're
Um,
harsh as hell.
you
I
should
mean,
be too.
again, I'm less harsh than Matt. I think that that's an important distinction, but I am hypercritical of the direction. Is I guess is where
And
how I
again,
would
that's
best
where
put
now
it.
I will be like, the Saudis can have it at this
Listen,
point.
I mean, I'm
wrestling.
not I'm not there with Matt with the I mean the Saudis are gonna get it by the way, but that's I'm not there. But anyway, we do have to move on to more WrestleMania
You
But
guys,
stuff.
I do view wrestling. This is why I have maybe a brighter view on things. I view WrestleMania as chapters. We ended the Cody Rhodes chapter, and we're gonna move on. The whole
Well,
playing
yeah,
field is
but
open now.
my issue had nothing to do with the Cody Rhodes chapter ending. I
I'm not
wanted the
saying,
Cody Rhodes chapter to end. I
but you guys,
predicted it would end.
yes,
I
but
predicted it
you wish it
I
like
would
got.
end
2 days
out in
ago.
a blaze of glory, and then not even that
But
happened.
I just wish
Apart
it
how
in the
would you
wasn't so
have?
window.
awkward.
It's good.
If you got no Rock, truly, like if you do not
But
have the
who?
Rock, hold on, let me finish. If you just don't have the Rock, just have John Cena cheat and win the match.
Okay, cool. But who? The problem is, you guys are saying Triple H needs to pull it back. Whatever. All right,
He
cool.
does, but that we only talk about one match. We got to get through the rest of them.
But who's fault? But even with the rest of them, they weren't that bad. They were predictable as fuck to the point where like you knew where the story was going. I don't get how you guys were that harsh on it.
Well, when we get through the rest of the
All right, go
matches,
ahead.
you'll hear.
Fine,
Go
I'll take the blame if I had too high expectations, but that was the point.
go ahead.
Anyway,
Now the main event of night two, which was better,
night one, you mean?
night one, excuse me, night
Yeah,
one was better. Again,
it's
very
good.
predictable. I'll go as far as good. The match was good. We had Seth Rollins defeating CM Punk and Roman, and Seth pinned Roman with Paul Heyman turning on both Punk and Roman with legit great storytelling in it, even if that was predictable.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that was legitimately good. I was very hyped, and that was if only we had we reacted then I'd be much more enthusiastic. But that ultimately is good. The This Fire Burns made me a CM Punk fan for life. That promo was incredible. And even though I
That was a
wanted Punk
cool
to
way to
win,
do that.
I changed my views on Punk in January, pretty much. And yeah, that match was good. Set again, though predictable. The Paul Heyman joining Seth was that was it. At least there are two separate storylines instead of them how that bleeding into the night two main event, which I
Yeah,
guess I'll take. It could have helped, but
I know. I like that. I mean,
take that.
maybe we'll never know about that.
If
But
anybody,
I
nobody
will
should
say,
trust
I
Paul
still
Heyman
bit.
ever again.
Yeah,
He's literally turned every
I'll say,
single person.
I still bit for it though. Like I
Yeah,
still got absolutely hyped when the turn happened. And part of that is the way Paul Heyman did it. You could see when he turned on CM Punk,
he was
he did
legit
it
sad.
because, yeah, he did it because he needed to because he made this deal with Seth Rollins, right? As we found out later. When he turned on Roman Reigns, he did that with his whole chest because he hates Roman Reigns. And so my
And
thing is,
justifiably so.
oh yeah, of course.
And
My
all
thing is, Roman might end up a heel again. So it's kind of, by the way, to fix that Cody problem that you were talking about, it might get fixed by default. I mean, you got CM Punk, who again, who knows what brand he's on, for being honest. And then you got and then you got Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns, I think
he's
the
going on
entire
vacation.
feud, well, besides the fact, yeah, he's going away. Roman Reigns, this entire feud for Mania, this entire build, which has been one of the better builds, by the way, for Mania, this triple threat, he
1000%.
he was a heel. He was the heel of this match. And that was before his bad PR. That was just as he was booked, he was the heel. And so like the fact is, I'm like, all right, so Seth turned, obviously. Roman turned, but weeks ago, technically, and last night, frankly, only solidified that. And then CM Punk is maybe on Raw. So Cody again is about to be the only, the only face on SmackDown. So, or and Randy, obviously. But so anyway, but yeah, Triple Threat was awesome. Both Triple Threats were awesome. Both triple threats were phenomenal. They were the two best matches of each night were the triple threats, I think. It was close on night one with the other women's match, which we'll get to eventually. But I would say that the two triple threats were the two best matches of WrestleMania, nights 1 and nights 2. And so, you know, obviously three big stars. I wish there had been a little bit better explanation for why the match was happening, but honestly, it was done so well and the ending was so, good that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter that it was kind of like a weird thrown together match. It was just it delivered everything it needed to deliver, and so you kind of could just forget about that, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
bro,
think
I'm with you on it.
I pretty much agree somewhat with Ryan. So yeah.
I think with what we had, we got as entertaining as it can be. And again,
It was great. I would
this
say, I mean,
fire
I
burns.
would say it's good.
Yeah, it was very cinematic, the match in ways.
Hmm.
I loved all the near falls, especially.
I
That's
saw
one of my
somebody
favorite aspects.
complaining. I
Too
I
too many
I,
near
I,
falls.
I forget where I read this, but they're like, "Oh, it's too slow." In my community, I'm like,
I don't know. Man.
guys,
You can
what the
suck a
hell?
dick.
Like, just like, not everything needs to be 100 miles a minute. Now, part of the reason it worked slower, whereas slower for Cody and Cena didn't work as well, is because they, meaning the three people in the triple threat, continued to have pretty crisp moves the entire
Yeah,
time. And when we talk about Gunther and Jay, we'll get into this too. Um, and so it's okay that they were able to take some time and do the promo mid-match and do this, that, the other thing, because every time they did fight, it looked legit. The problem is Cena was and Cody were on that half speed, and it wasn't particularly tough looking. Like everything looked pretty soft. Again, especially from Cena, but even Cody to some extent. And that was to me to the detriment of the match. Had there been a big finish, then all would have probably been forgiven, but there wasn't. And so, yeah, that's why pace worked in that triple threat because there was enough high, you know, impact stuff in between it to make it match feel like a match.
and how we feel about going into that. Why don't we, transition to the Gunther and Jey Uso? And it was actually pretty good. Happy for Jay. Solid
Great
match.
match.
It's good, and we'll take that. So congratulations to Jay on his win. He's your new world heavyweight champion. Pretty good stuff there, huh?
Yeah, no, and I would say I would go better than good. It was a great match, my opinion.
I'll go good,
Better
but
than better than I thought it would be, if we're being actually honest. But no, the way that the story played out in the actual ring was great. I would I don't know this to be a fact, but I'm guessing that Gunther probably had a big hand in producing that match himself. And if that's true, then WWE needs to continue to just back up the money tree and plant the money tree in Gunther's backyard and just let him pick it whenever he wants, because he's going to have a long career as a wrestler, and then he can have an even longer career working for them, on the talent side. But it was great the idea that Jay started doing Gunther's moves, kind of countered the idea that he can't wrestle because everybody knows Gunther can wrestle. Now Jay is doing Gunther's
Hmm.
moves, so clearly Jay can wrestle. That was kind of the whole point. Obviously, the resiliency, that's a typical Jay Uso spot, being able to take a lot of punishment and come back. And then he choked Gunther out the way that Gunther choked out Jimmy. Like it was literally, I thought it was a very, very well booked match. They didn't go too fast. They obviously up when Jay had to go up high and do his high flying stuff. But by and
Right.
large, they kept it at a really good pace that allowed them to tell the story with their bodies, with their faces, and with their moves. Really, really impressed with the match. I liked it a lot.
I mean,
Thumbs up.
it was better than last year's Jay Uso match. I'll tell you
I
that.
mean, there's not a match on. No offense to that match, but there's not a match on either night of this card that's worse than last year's Jey Uso match.
That's
I
true.
mean, like I said, last year's card was better, but last year the worst match I've seen in a long time at WrestleMania was the Jey Uso Jimmy Uso match. It didn't have any heat either, which is a problem on some of the matches on this card that we'll talk about as well. But um, yeah, no, this was way better than that. It was a good match. It was one of the better matches of the frankly of the weekend.
Right. It was.
How would you take the Tiffany and Charlotte match? Tell me your thoughts on that.
I so usually Charlotte has the best women's match at WrestleMania. I've already made it clear that the triple threat was the best women's match at WrestleMania. It was the best
Hmm.
match at night too. That doesn't though mean that I dislike the Charlotte Tiffany match. I thought that the Charlotte and the Tiffany match was great. I think I mean I stand by it. Watching that match and again, I watched 6+ hours straight of wrestling today. I watched all of this today, so this is not a hazy recollection from last night. Charlotte Flair is, and this isn't a question, this is a declared, or this is not even an opinion, it's a declarative statement, is the best female professional wrestler WWE has
Oh,
ever signed.
Jesus.
Yes, I know. She, no offense to Tiffany. Tiffany did her part well. Tiffany, from that match, and she'll get there, by the way, she's very talented. She was not a WrestleMania headliner in that match. And I understand that technically the guys were headlining. I get it. But she did not hold herself like that. She defended the title like it was Backlash. Okay? It was not a WrestleMania match. She did all the same stuff. She really didn't kick it into another gear. Charlotte is the one who made that feel like a WrestleMania match, and she guided Tiffany to that. And so I think lots of flowers need to go to Charlotte. I think she's probably going away for a while because, other than the match itself, this entire feud has been really bad, and Charlotte played a huge role in that. Charlotte was not great in the build to this match, and I say that as a massive Charlotte fan, but in the ring, she still absolutely delivered, and she gave Tiffany a memorable match, which Tiffany has not had. And so to me, that this was a good match for Tiffany. It was a good match on the card, and Charlotte has a lot to do with that. I really liked the match. Just wasn't, this time it wasn't the best women's match, but it was a really good match, and I had a lot of fun watching that one too.
Oh, Jesus. I thought that match was crap, to be honest with you.
Wild nonsense.
Oh, come on.
That's
The only thing
nonsense.
great was the only thing that was newsworthy about that was Tiffany Stratton's teeth. Let's be honest. Nobody gave two shits
Yeah,
about
no.
that.
So, by the way, Charlotte, I think it was the boot, or it was either the boot or the natural selection from the top rope. But at one point, Charlotte knocked her teeth out. I was like, that was for that divorce line. By the way, that was planned. That Charlotte had that in mind from the beginning. I think that. By the way, at the beginning, they threw hands. It kind of looked real. Obviously, it wasn't, but they threw hands at the start in a way that looked like they were going to go off script, and I was actually nervous. Like, is this going to be a nightmare? But no, it was planned to look that way, obviously. But I think that added a lot to the match too. This match was hard hitting, very hard hitting, especially for Stratton, who's not typically like that. I mean, Charlotte can scrap, obviously, but Tiffany's usually more, floaty and flippy, and you know what I mean. It's so
Right.
she had to display a level of aggression in this match because she was, getting her teeth knocked down her throat. And so I think again, it really did a lot for Tiffany too, but also it was just a good match. Like the styles were different enough that they both felt like individual people despite all their similarities. And like I said, Charlotte was just hammering Stratton. Like she almost made it so Stratton had to just start swinging at certain points. Like there was no spot to be had. There was no flip to be done. It was just you got to throw an elbow to create a moment because Charlotte was definitely laying it on, and it worked well. It worked well for both of them.
What did you think about the match, Matt?
I'm on your side, Jose. I just thought
Oh
it
Uh,
my
was
goodness.
nothing
I was just making sure.
spectacular. I
Yeah,
give
but
her credit for hanging in there with the knocked teeth, the stealing of Stephanie Vicura's move,
she's
and not
been
doing
doing
Yeah.
it
it
as
longer than
impressive.
Steph, but that's fine.
Well, she did it better. And
That's true. No, I agree with
and
that bit, but
um I never felt any high stakes or anything. I just thought I saw some two people who are petty with each other trying to do a scripted match when they're better off being in the octagon and
tell
really
you what,
scrapping it there.
that makes me feel like I had the right call because again, Matt is a professional player hater for wrestling tonight. He's upset. So if Matt's agreeing with you, Jose, that means I had the right call. That's how I'm choosing to listen to that. But
No, I
if I'm
just
wrong, tell me in the comments.
listen. I think you just put Charlotte Flair so high and mighty. Jesus
Charlotte
Christ.
can wrestle a
I picked
banana
I
And
picked
then
Tiffany to win this thing. It too. It's I'm
yeah,
not it's not like, oh, I love Charlotte. So no. I thought that Tiffany was going to win. I thought that frankly the match was going to be quicker. I thought Tiffany was going to be a lot more dominant. I didn't think that they were going to book it the way they did, and I thought they did it really well. I think I'd be more than fair. I'm also again not calling it the best match on the card. It was not on either night. It wasn't the best women's match. Wasn't the best overall match. Not night one. Not night two. I think I'm being fairly, I think I'm being fairly, fair in my assessment. I think I liked Jay versus Gunther better as well. This is low for where I usually rank Charlotte's matches. It just was also good.
so between the New Day and War Raiders, Jade and Naomi, Jacob and LA Knight, El Grande Americano and Ray Phoenix, and Drew, Damian Pierce, Logan and AJ Styles, and the Women's Tag Team Championship. What else really stuck out between all of that? For me personally, that Drew spot doing the Claymore
Yeah.
straight on
Wow.
Damien's head to the steel chair, giving him definitely. I don't know how he didn't get a concussion. Definitely get some
Yeah.
CTE, but kudos for those two doing that. El Grande Americano's straight up racist entrance,
Yes.
but it was fun, so we know don't take that too seriously. R.I.P. my boy LA Knight's title reign. I guess he's going to be written off with a rib injury.
For a while, probably.
And those really stuck out for me to start off with those we have what's left.
I would say from those, LA Knight had an awesome night. I know he lost, but I think
Yes, it
that
was a great
I know,
match. It was a fun
yeah,
match to
it was an
watch.
awesome match. LA Knight and listen, Jacob Fatu is obviously very good, so that helps. But I think LA Knight being written off might actually be one of the best things that could happen to him because he's going to come back to a huge pop. And
Oh
frankly, the
Jesus.
last well, he is. Everyone comes back from injury from a huge pop, Jose. So let's just put that away. He's hurt. He's gonna come back. People are gonna be like, "Oh, cool, LA Knight's back." And they're gonna cheer. Plus, he had this match. It was a great match. It was a pretty good build up to the great match, and I think that that could be something to get him back kind of in the upper echelon, at least for a little bit. Um, Not saying a title win necessarily, but a couple of matches or whatever, would be cool and I think deserved. You also mentioned Logan versus AJ. I
which was an
didn't. I
annoyingly
wanted to
good.
like that.
I
Yeah,
didn't think it was
it
that
was
bad.
annoyingly good, but what really upset me, not upset me, but
AJ
it
just
was the
doesn't win
most
at
annoying.
Mania.
That too, but the thing that most annoyed me, honestly, is that
Jose was
AJ
right.
looked. Yeah, but no, AJ was a little bit slow. AJ was a little bit behind the eight ball. A lot of that match, I mean, obviously it was booked for Logan to look strong most of the match, but Logan actually did a lot in that match with AJ. And again, AJ is great. And so it's even, AJ at half speed is better than most people. But um, Logan definitely was a big part of why that match was good too, which I always hate as someone who doesn't like it that Logan Paul is good at pro wrestling. But I thought it was a good match. And then the El Grande Americano should have been cut from the card. It had very little heat, even with Rey Mysterio in the spot. For Ray Phoenix to just step in, like no offense, I love Phoenix almost as much as I love Pentagon. I love all the Lucha Underground guys, but that was no one gave a rat's about Ray Phoenix in that match. And more importantly, I will say, watching the actual match, Chad Gable is a better luchador than some of the actual luchadors WWE
Hey
has hired in
yo,
the recent past. Like that one move, I don't even remember know the name of it, but everyone who's listening knows the move I'm talking about. That was really cool. He just did all kinds of flips and whatever, landing on his knees or something. It was whatever it was. That was a
okay.
cool move. Yeah, Chad Gable is a better luchador than some actual luchadors. And Ray Phoenix is great. It was a good match, but it's just nobody cared about him. And I mean, that's really it. And then the New Day finally won.
With no big day, with no biggie
Yeah, they finally
surprise.
won though. They usually lose at WrestleMania, so at least they won this time. You know?
Was a part of Middle Mania.
Yeah. I don't really have much else to say about
And the
any of that.
Fatal
I thought
Four Way
Jade and
also
Naomi was fine.
predictable. Too bad Finn Balor just Finn Balor just go. Just
But it's never gonna be Finn Balor.
bet on yourself. Do the
Finn
Cody.
Balor's 50 years old. He's not going to bet on himself.
Exactly.
But,
So that's why
he
lights
should
are
just
going
stay
to
where
see
he
him.
is and continue doing. I wasn't. I don't
Guess
want
a
to say I was
job's a
surprised
job,
that
right?
Dom won. Yeah, I don't want to say I was surprised Dom won. I obviously didn't pick
You
Dom
didn't
to
pick
win.
them? You
No,
didn't
I
pick
didn't.
them?
I picked Penta. Picked Penta.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. Another one I'm
Um,
right about, as always.
but
Too bad wrestling's fake,
I got.
Jose, because you couldn't do a parlay with this.
I know. God
You
damn it.
could. They did have bets. They did
In
have
Europe.
bets actually in Europe, but anyway,
A
but you
few.
could still bet. No, I was gonna say that I picked Penta. I thought they were gonna do something with Chad, and that's why I wanted Penta to have the title. They probably still will do something with Chad. It just won't be for the title. But no, the Dom, like people were hyped for Dom to win online, and it's like that was one of the bigger moments of the night was the Dominic Mysterio, right?
He's definitely going over. He's going to be a babyface.
Oh yeah, no, I mean yeah, he's the face. Finn will be the heel, and that'll be the first feud for the title. But I was just kind of surprised because I
And
was
they're
like,
gonna have a
wow,
live sex celebration. Live
No,
live
Liv
event.
is going to turn on Dom.
yeah, Liv is mad because she lost the title. That's which is what we'll talk about. Unless we mentioned. Oh, we did. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Becky
yeah.
Lynch was the surprise guest for Lyra. That was obviously a fairly big return.
Is
And
it?
then they won the. I mean, big enough. And then they won the tag titles, which
Big.
yeah, yeah, big. I would say big in air quotes. I agree. Becky Lynch as a big return is kind of limited because she's always the big return usually.
And
Uh,
not about a
but
lot of people like her or care
Who?
about her. Becky.
yeah, I mean that's wrong, but.
Yeah, I give two shits about Becky.
Thank you,
You
Jose.
guys are crazy. Anyway, Becky's obviously very popular, but she is
Was
typically the
very
surprise.
popular.
Who is?
Was.
Exactly,
She
was.
was
No,
very
she's still. I
popular.
mean, I heard the pop same as y'all, so
Wasn't very bit loud.
that was plenty loud, dude.
What was it?
It's what
What
I would watch
that?
it.
Yo, I swear, I think Ryan sometimes still is like back in that fucking that time, whatever year, fucking Ronda Rousey,
2006?
fucking
Oh,
Becky Lynch, and
2019?
yeah, whatever the fuck. I think I swear he thinks
Shit
he's
was.
still in that
Well, no, I
time.
mean that was
You
way
both were there
louder
that
than
night.
this. Yeah, that was way louder than what she got tonight.
That was
But
actually a
that
time I
doesn't
wasn't watching wrestling.
You know, that was she got a way louder reaction that night than she did for a surprise tag team return.
Like nobody,
But
nobody. I never heard like when Becky went on her fucking break. I never heard nobody. Hey, we need Becky Lynch coming back.
oh, I
That's
know,
Before,
I
like,
didn't,
the only one
but
I
I
that's the
heard
didn't say
was,
we
loudest
like,
laugh.
didn't
hey,
need Becky. Who said we needed Becky Lynch to come back? I don't think we
Nobody
need Becky Lynch to come
did.
back.
she's not. She's trash. It's
Oh God,
stupid.
trash. You
She,
guys, crap
She's
and trash.
better.
You guys should not be allowed to use that because you don't use
Too
either one
bad.
of them correctly.
compared
But
to the
anyway.
new generation that's out, compared to the Stephanie Valkyries and fucking
Oh, you
all them,
got listen. Can
Julia.
I just say,
Jesus.
Stephanie Vaquer is very good. She's an NXT champion.
She's one of the
She's
greatest people of all
she's
time.
not anywhere near the main roster.
She
She's
should
not.
be.
No, she shouldn't be.
She should.
You want to ruin Matt? Honestly, you want to ruin her career? Send her to the main roster right now. She's not ready. Um,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
so
Do it.
no,
Do
she's
it.
not.
Do it.
And so that's what I'm
Do
saying.
it.
You keep saying, oh, with this, that, the other. No, everyone in the Fatal Four Way at NXT. That, by the way, awesome show. Not a single one of them is actually ready to be on the main roster. You could probably call Julia up, put her with Damage Control, and keep her in tag matches till she gets there. But that's it. Jordan Grace, who I loved her in TNA. I'm happy she's in NXT. Is not ready. And I thought she would be, but I'm watching NXT. She's not ready. Stephanie Vaquer, not ready. Jada Parker, not ready. So this new generation that you're holding up in such high esteem is not quite ready for prime time just yet. They still need a couple of key players from the last crew
Guess what? She
to
could
fill
do
out
no
the rest of
wrong
the
in my
roster.
eyes.
Well, she's very attractive,
I love
yes,
how I
but
love
that's
I
No, I
love
love her as
I,
she's a wrestler.
I love how you said they're
oh
not
yeah, that's
ready.
what you
You
love.
can, and they're probably better than half the main roster right now, and they're not
No, they're
ready.
not. That's what I'm saying. They're not. They're not
But
ready.
they're
Correct.
better than half the roster that's on the
They're
main.
not better than half the roster.
Oh,
You're
you
saying
like?
that.
Oh, okay, cool. You like? What? Piper Niven's better than Stephanie Valkyrie.
Piper Niven is an awesome professional wrestler. Yes.
Oh yeah, she's so fucking over that they
No,
basically
she's not
replaced her.
over. That
They basically replaced
Jose,
her.
that's my point. She's not over, and she's a better professional wrestler than the three people that I just mentioned.
Oh my
That's
God.
my point. To get over on the main roster isn't just about how many cool moves you can do or in fairness, how hot you are. Although that second part probably will help. And so,
Definitely.
which Piper doesn't have, and so that's
Hey,
fine.
yeah.
But they're just saying. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, my point
I'm just
is
yawning
that
here.
yeah, the folks that you mentioned are not better professional wrestlers than many of the people on the main roster who are not over. The people who are over on the main roster, some of them are not that good at wrestling. Jade, she's fairly over. Wasn't not crazy, but people were happy that she won. They cheered when she won. She's not that good. She's just not. She's got a very limited moveset, but she looks like and carries herself and performs like an actual superstar. It's a separate thing.
Exactly.
You guys, it's crazy because you both hate AEW, but you talk like a couple of AEW marks every time we talk about pro wrestling. Everything you say is AEW. The only difference is you also hate AEW. That's the only difference between talking to you two and talking to AEW fans. Genuinely, is that you hate them too. So you just hate everything. Seriously. To be a WWE superstar requires more than just what Stephanie, Jada, Julia, and Jordan Grace have. And they'll get there because they're all very talented. But the folks like Bailey, Becky, Charlotte, Bianca,
they don't
they're still.
respect Bailey enough just to kick her off, and that's
Well,
why
yeah, that was.
we
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
Sasha Banks go out of her way on Twitter, get more
I saw.
money at our
I saw.
company.
No, I saw that,
Bold
and honestly,
statement.
if she does do it, then she does do it. I think that she's not. She lost a WrestleMania card, right? And if she goes to AEW, she can wrestle on every card every night and still never be on a match card as big as WrestleMania. So, do you
That is true.
get mad about missing one WrestleMania and go to the JV squad, or do you suck it up, Buttercup, finish the story? Because it's clear that either Lyra or Becky attacked Bailey. Duh. And
You
so,
already know who it is.
yeah, I just told you, Lyra or Becky. That's who it was.
It's Becky.
Um, it could be Lyra. There's a world where Lyra wanted a different partner because she doesn't like Bailey. They've been feuding for the Intercontinental title, as you know, and so Lyra attacked her to pick her, mentor and friend Becky. Bailey's going to assume it was Becky, and Becky's going to be like, "Wasn't me. I got a phone call asking to come help. That's why I showed up." And then they eventually find out it's Lyra and not Becky. But again, there's clearly a story here that involves Becky, Lyra, and Bailey leaving because you didn't get your WrestleMania match. While I understand being upset, you still paid very well, I'm sure, from all the times you led up to WrestleMania. You were on WrestleMania the first night because they showed you get beat up. That was pretty cool. And I think that you'd be silly to leave. But I understand if you feel that you're worth more and you want to prove that by going to a place that is never going to be as big. I don't know how you're going to do that, but if you think you can prove yourself by going to a smaller venue for probably the same money, if we're being honest, then go for it.
Last but not least, do we feel like an ultimate culmination, an ultimate head of what WWE was this entire WrestleMania week was Stone Cold not being able to drive his ATM and genuinely hitting a bystander where they might actually have a case of some lawsuit coming in. Anywhere you saw the president just beg, "Oh my God, no, that was not supposed to happen." Imagine if that happened when he was drinking a beer too. Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean
that just culminates what WrestleMania week was in WrestleMania 41, where somebody genuinely got hurt in the stands. Not a mouse in the palace bad, but that was bad. That was really bad.
I mean, yeah, that wasn't
How do you
good,
crash
obviously.
that shit? We've seen him do that forever.
Yeah, well, not this time.
Jeez.
I don't know.
You
That
just
was
saw
crazy
his
that he
heart
crashed.
drop.
Well, I think in fairness, he thought he probably thought the barricade was going down. Like the barricade held up, which was cool because
he was hit that fast.
He hit it fast. Yeah, yeah. And I think he probably freaked because he thought that he and the Thing were going into the front row, and that would have been more than one person falling back. That would have been, 10 people pinned to their chairs by the barricade. So I think that's why Steve Austin was freaking out. But she's gonna get a T-shirt
From Fanatics.
She's going
Fanatics
backstage.
T-shirt. She'll get to see maybe not Steve Austin. Maybe they'll have her talk to someone else. But
Oh, she's definitely talking to Steve Austin.
oh, Steve Austin went over to her after. But she's gonna get to talk to Bret Hart. She's gonna get a T-shirt. And she's gonna get a one-on-one meet and greet with Akira Tozawa. That's what she's gonna get.
Oh God, that's an
you're
insult. I
underselling
would
it.
definitely start hitting my lawyers up if you give me that.
That's
I'm
what I'm telling you. That's
I,
what they're gonna get. They're gonna say
don't
you're supposed
agree.
to get out of the way. You are. You're not supposed to let the wrestlers get on you like that. So if a move's coming at you, you're supposed to move. She didn't move. They'll argue that that was part of the show and she didn't move. Obviously, it wasn't. He
She's
crashed
behind
into
the barricade.
Jose, yes. Have you ever seen a wrestling show? They go
Yeah.
behind there all the time. They did it
correct.
last night.
Yeah, but they purposely. I already know for a fact because there was an incident in WWE where someone threw a cane, hit somebody, and a piece of it went to the fucking stand fans. One got hit. They brought that motherfucker backstage. They gave him the fucking like he's the goddamn president treatment. Every motherfucker went to go meet them, sign autographs. They got the whole fucking shit.
Maybe.
All that done. You know Triple H is gonna come and apologize. You know Nick Khan. You know all the.
Oh, yeah.
fucking,
No, obviously they're going to apologize.
Oh, they're gonna give him. They're gonna give her the fucking work. They're not giving her Tozawa. They're giving her fucking every motherfucker to stop by to say hi to them.
We'll see.
Sour.
So you also think about it's over there right now. As what is it 11:30 here? It's only fucking 8:30 there. She's probably
I
got
know.
front row seats to the fucking roast show too. On top of that,
That'll be good.
Yeah, it's
but
not televised, sadly,
no,
or streamed.
no. Like I
But
said,
somebody will not listen
Leak
to the rules
something,
to
yeah.
them then.
Yeah.
And
No, I don't think she'll get much because again, the difference is the cane was tossed in air into the crowd. You can make the argument that the spot was for Stone Cold to hit the barricade. That would be a lie, by the way, but you could pretend it wasn't.
you know what's a lot of bullshit? Triple H saying Raw after Mania tomorrow is going to be big and a lot on it, and it's going to be
yeah,
exciting.
because you got
He says that
fucking.
every
You're
year.
gonna,
Well,
no,
yeah.
you're
I don't
gonna have
believe in the Raw.
Miro.
I don't believe in the Raw after WrestleMania being good anymore. I don't believe in it. Like
No,
saying
If
like,
there
you
was
got-
a year to do it, this would be the one though.
Yeah, you
the
got
last
Miro
10 have
coming.
been bad.
Miro's
Yeah,
gonna come back. You got Sami Zayn
Yeah.
gonna come back. You
Yeah.
got all them motherfuckers coming back. So I think it's not gonna be that bad. I think it's
Oh,
gonna
I think it'll be a good Raw.
I swear
don't
to
think it'll be
God,
bad.
we
Of
had
course.
the same conversation last year, and none of that happened.
No, factually they are bringing Miro back. They
Oh
are
no!
bringing Aleister
I'm
Black
saying
back.
that it was
Like,
going to be
factually.
good, and then it was nothing. I swear we had this same
Well,
comment the last 2
I
years.
still think still think it's nothing, but I mean, Miro's just fucking Miro. And fuck, hey, going to AEW didn't help his career out or nothing.
He's
Yeah,
still
right.
Rusev.
It's Rusev Day,
Okay,
He'll be Rusev again.
Rusev.
He's not gonna be Miro when he comes back.
He's everybody,
And-
but he's gonna still have that AEW stink on all over him. So
There's no
nobody's gonna give a
stank.
shit.
No one in WWE cares that they were in AEW. I'm sorry, that's
and
not true.
last but not least, Bret Hart, his rolling of the eyes with Triple H, don't change. Bret Hart is probably one of my favorite celebrities ever. The way he goes
Because
on
you are both
interviews-
haters.
It's fine then, if you want to say that, but we're both right, justified in our hate. I just love it every time, no matter what. Just this guy suck, piece of shit. This person, fuck him. You gotta love it.
No, it's
the
very
i-
funny. But
And you gotta the idea of a Hall of Fame specifically, where you're literally supposed to put the best of the best, and you're undermining your own Hall of Famers by giving one person a main event an entrance for the Hall of Fame. That is so
yeah,
stupid
also,
and offensive.
this match moment.
You literally had
thing-
the two people next to you that arguably are bigger legends than Triple H in a way.
Oh,
they're
I would
not
say
even get that.
inarguably, probably, but
and then they don't even get that. So good on Bret Hart not showing
but I will say,
showing his
listen,
emotion.
So Bret Hart and Steve Austin are already in the Hall of Fame. They shouldn't. This match thing shouldn't even be in the Hall of Fame. That's ridiculous.
Best match.
Best
That's like putting
immoral
a movie.
moment.
That's like putting
Yeah.
a movie in the Hall
Are
of
you
Fame.
Are you serious saying that it's not worthy of being in the Hall of Fame? That match?
No, that match if you're going to have a match category, is absolutely worthy. I'm
Okay.
saying they don't need a match category. You could give it to Brett and Steve Austin, which they've done on account of having that match and many other matches that were really good. That's why they're in the Hall of Fame already. But if you insist on having this match thing, don't make them do the walkout. Because here's the thing. Most of the people who are going to be eligible for that greatest moment, immortal moment thing are already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, right.
And so they did this already. Both of them got to be the dude who came out in the middle. Both of them got to be Triple H. But this time now they're two big stars. They're already in the Hall of Fame. They're standing there watching Triple H with his new ring. Like, it doesn't work. Right? Because think about this. So now you're going to have what? You're going to have a Triple H versus, I don't know. That doesn't work. You're going to have Undertaker. Like... No. So next year, Undertaker Shawn Michaels gets Immortal Moment. Right? Obviously, best WrestleMania match ever. So that makes sense. But they're both in the Hall of Fame already. Both. Okay. And so now you make Batista finally gets the headline. Because next year he got a headline. So now they got to stand there, watch Batista come out, and then bump Knox with him. Sean's in the damn thing twice already. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's silly to have them come
Hall
out.
of Famer, you could say that.
Yeah. It's just silly to have them come out. Like, if you win the match thing, you get to go. The two of you get to be, or however many you were in the match, get to chit chat. Be like, yeah, fun times. Really enjoyed this. Blah blah blah. Do a quick little thing at the beginning of the ceremony, and then peace out. Do not make them a part of the class, like the official class. To me, that's again because so many of those people are going to be Hall of Famers when they win that award. To me, it's just a really bad idea to have a bunch of actual Hall of Famers show up and stand next to Michelle McCool like they're on the same level.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Michelle, didn't you give them argument that Michelle McCool was some great fucking diva?
My argument was that Michelle McCool was the only woman you could put in this year.
God.
Yo, can I say, imagine if other sports did the way WWE does it. It's like, I'm looking at the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's going to be CC Sabathia, Ichiro, Billy Wagner, Dick Allen, and Dave Parker. Yeah. Like, if they did that, let's say Ichiro is the headliner.
Right.
You see Ichiro get his own entrance like that.
Right. And then make CC Sabathia stand there quietly as Ichiro comes out to applause, as if CC Sabathia is not an iconic pitcher for New York. You know what I mean?
Right. That doesn't fundamentally make sense.
Hold on. I love how you said for New York. Ichiro is not just New York or any of that. He is a cultural world player.
I don't give two fucks about Ichiro.
He held the bridge. He's the one that did for bringing Japan into the game. So he has more of a bigger impact than
So you support this idea.
As much as I listen, you give the guy flowers, keep it a fucking way. I don't know why you guys bitching. Who gives a shit?
We'll just have them all come out at the same time.
You realize that
exactly.
You realize Bret Hart and Steve Austin could just say fucking no.
Well, that's what Lex Luger did.
There, I just did notice that.
Because
he went to WrestleCon instead because they paid more. I swear to God.
I saw that story. He went to
That's freaking awesome. He goes, no, they're gonna pay me more, so I'm doing that. But thank you for the Hall of Fame.
That's
fucking awesome. That's awesome.
That is a good one.
That's fucking rumor. Nigga can't fucking stand up. The nigga ain't coming out in a fucking wheelchair.
Yo,
come on,
he stood up for 10 minutes, dude.
Yeah, all his might. He was done. He was spent. Okay. He was done. He did a 10 years worth in 10 minutes,
dude.
DDP ain't fucking Jesus Christ. He ain't a miracle worker. What the fuck?
He can hold him. What do you mean?
What do you want him to do? Like a little bitch? I need some grown man to hold me? No. He's like, fuck that. I can stay in my wheelchair and sign some autographs with these bums. They can't even afford WrestleMania.
Lex Luger has always been about the money, guys.
He's like, let me
always been about the money.
These bums I can't even afford to go to Vegas anyway.
How much money you think fucking Lex Luger got? Like $400 for everybody's either at WrestleMania or he's saying fucking autographs for $10 fucking dollars.
No, I'm aware of that, and I'm saying he got paid more to do the autographs.
God, I feel bad for that guy. The guy, look, you see his fingers are all over the fuck. They're pointing all over the place.
Man, wrestling is a fucked industry, huh? Until like 2 years. I will give it credit to Triple H with getting some legitimacy there, but
no, I agree. about the legitimacy. But again, we're
But everything
we're
else,
falling
it's
into
been a
dark.
bad year.
We're
Everything
falling
else.
into the dark territory of this macho blah blah. It's gonna end poorly for them. It really is. I'm telling you, it's not gonna work. It is right now. Like that's the moment we're living in. I understand that.
Again, once we see Saudi WrestleMania, then no more
Well, that
credibility
too,
ever
but I'm
again.
just saying, like, we're in this moment now, and Triple H is playing to it, and he's overplayed it. This moment's not going to last forever. This moment might not even last another year.
What moment?
The cultural moment that we currently live in. I don't know
Oh,
that this is not sustainable for another year. So he's going to make all these decisions. He's going to get in with the Rogan Hinchcliffe fucking podcast crew. And then that's going to turn into, back down into the underground, basement dweller. And then WWE's going to be dragged down there with him and Dana White. You know what I mean? So right now they're having a big moment and they're taking advantage. But if they go too far, like UFC's gone too far. When the world changes back to something akin to normal, the fact that they had a Nazi, I know he got knocked out, but the fact that they had a Nazi main event their last UFC card, UFC's done. UFC's
That was
gonna
a bad
have
Ryan.
one. That was a
1
bad
to
one.
5 more years of legitimacy while this current moment is existing, and then they're fucked because no one can take them seriously. They are not a serious group of people. They are unserious. They're at their peak right now, and they're going to disappear when it's done. WWE is
That's why
rapidly joining them, and that is going to be the
They're
only
owned
thing.
by them.
Well, they're owned by
wasn't
TK.
sure.
They're owned by TKO. They're not owned by
Which-
UFC. Dana White doesn't get to book WWE. Triple H has decided to follow
Who's the-
suit. And let me finish. And
Oh,
the only
perfect.
thing that could stop WWE, by the way, is WWE. They're the only ones who can screw this up.
Brian.
They are so far in the pole position, they will never disappear unless they decide to make themselves cultural pariahs, and they're rapidly approaching doing that. But they got time. They got a lot of goodwill.
You make it sound like a Nazi wrestler never fought in the WWE.
Yeah, they didn't but the Nazi wrestler didn't make it his whole fucking deal.
I give credit
Well,
to the other leagues that are sports that haven't dwelled to that. I'll just leave it there. Not even the NFL. Even though the NFL sometimes makes me feel like they're going that way.
They're a little bit, but they're keeping plausible deniability. That's what WWE needs to do. You got to dip your toe, don't dive right in. But they're not listening.
Well,
they run the whole show, my dude. They just got triple A and all that. They're basically taking over everything. They didn't give a shit. Why do they need to give a shit?
Because
Who are they
eventually
gonna go?
people will
We're
stop
gonna have
watching.
who? But it's just like the UFC. People stop watching. Do you think they give a shit at the end of the day?
No.
Ticket sales are going up and up and up. Pay-per-views are going down because of how it is. But eventually they're gonna change it. They're gonna go to the WWE route, go to Netflix or whatever, and they're gonna be back up as always. That's
Don't
just
listen.
how it works.
You heard what I said. We'll see what happens.
Unless there's I agree, but agree with your notion. I get your idea, but the problem is there's nobody else. There's nothing.
Yeah, but people will just stop watching in general.
Homie.
The entire industry will just get smaller.
It'll never get like that. It goes ups and downs. I give you that. It happened in
ups and downs.
93, and it comes right back up again.
So they'll do this. It'll go down.
The
it'll
era when
shrink.
me and Ryan started wrestling, wrestling.
But that shit was
pretty low.
down.
Right. So
It was low.
it'll shrink, and then they'll do something different, and they'll start to go back up again. I'm saying if they go with this particular group, they're going to shrink. How small they shrink will depend on how deep they jump into this. If they start having, what's his name? Colby Covington was highlighted on this show. If they go in that direction, if they keep that direction, it's going to end with them being so much different than we can even possibly realize.
I get what you're saying, but Kobe Covington coming on the show, cool. But you also realize that you put his name on something that's gonna be spotlighted. Now TKO is gonna put him here, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, Dip,
yes,
he was."
I know,
so
but you're not listening to me. Yes, you're not listening to me. They're making money this year and next year. Eventually, TKO in the properties that it owns, aka UFC, are going to become persona non grata. They're not going to be popular. They're going to have a very niche audience. Right now, the reason it's working is because their very niche audience is currently the majority of people watching anything. They're in the culture is where they are. The niche that they fill is mainstream. And so they're making lots and lots of money. And WWE is shifting into that niche to try and make lots and lots of money, and they probably will. But it's not that society is not going to stay within that niche. It will go somewhere else eventually, and depending on the direction that it goes, it could leave the people who are stuck in a niche with half as many fans as they had before. That's what I'm saying. But again, we don't know. We won't know until later. But that's something if I were WWE, I'd be actively thinking about as I book my next month up till Backlash.
But you're making it sound like they need to fix this now.
Yeah, they do. But
Bro, come on, Ryan. They're making so much fucking money that you want to
that's why
let's
they won't.
change
Right.
the
That's why they
motto.
won't. That's right. They won't fix it now because they're thinking about short-term gain versus long-term, and that's just
There's
how
a reason.
business
I,
is.
I I do think I like your premise, and I do agree with you on that in some aspects. But then I also see what they're trying to do.
I do. I do. Yeah, maximize their money right
Maximize their
now.
money, but maximum money not just in the U.S. They're maximizing money outside in Europe, going out
Oh, I know.
about. So
I got you.
when today's society in America sucks dick, all right, cool, we'll go to Europe, and that's what they're fucking doing. They're
No,
doing what
it
UFC does.
sucks
The
dick
model,
everywhere.
but no, but that's not how it is.
Roman
UFC.
Reigns,
That's how
Roman
fucking
Reigns.
UFC got outsmart the system. They saw that
No, I
numbers are going
understand.
down in America. They're going where? Saudi Arabia. They're gonna go to Saudi Arabia. They're gonna go to fucking Brazil. They went. Look at the
No,
UFC.
I
And
understand.
ask Matt. UFC was in either Vegas or Brazil.
Yeah,
Market in Brazil dried out. They moved that bitch quick, and that's what WWE is gonna do.
I know, but like I said, it's a card trick that's going to run out eventually. That's all I'm
It
saying.
hasn't run out for WWE. I mean UFC,
All right.
and they've
Well,
been doing this for 20 some odd years.
sure, but they've not been doing it at the level they're doing it at now. Anyway, we do got to finish the podcast.
All
So.
right, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, you guys had some powerful stuff to say. I appreciate every second of it. A lot of laughs, a lot of aggravation on what WrestleMania wound up being, but at the end of the day, it's over. There's nothing we can do. We got to move
It
on.
is over.
I sincerely hope that a year from now, we're talking about a better WrestleMania.
Seriously doubt it.
Really?
Well, then hopefully,
unless the Rock, it just
it
shows
all falls on the
it
Rock.
falls on the Rock.
Doesn't fall on the Rock.
I
But
think
sorry, Jose.
let's be honest, real honest, and I know you're about to close the show. I'm gonna be real honest. If the
Yeah.
Rock showed up last night and
Or
we had a
tonight.
different and tonight, I'm sorry. Well, last night, wherever the fucking way people want to listen to it.
Yeah.
If he would have showed up and there was a different ending, I think it would have changed everybody's outlook on
Sure.
fucking WrestleMania.
I agree.
So realistically, we have the same players that was in this year, most likely gonna be next year. And honestly, it ain't fucking like nobody on the outside is coming in is gonna change that.
No, but
Unless,
on the inside, they can change the players in terms
it's the
of
same
who they
players.
are.
Nobody on NXT is gonna change it.
No,
Nobody. You're
no.
just
But
changing the matchups, the story,
right.
whatever. But
Yeah,
the
the
players is
story.
gonna
That's what
stay
I'm
the same.
saying.
You can make it a little better match wise quality,
Sure. You
but it
definitely
is
could.
is not gonna be knocking your socks off.
I think it
So
will.
for me,
It could.
I
Not
think
will. I don't know.
I think the last three was that it depends on the storyline because the last 3 years we had the fucking uh bloodline, and now that's kind of kibosh now.
Yeah, the Bloodline
So
story
that's
ended
why
yesterday.
that right. So
Yeah,
for
I got
me,
what I wanted.
unless the Rock comes in
Comes and
and kind of
revives it. Yeah.
revives it with either Rock Cody, which I don't even want that now because that's probably dumb as fuck. The only one everybody wants is Rock and Roman.
I think that's the move. Yeah.
That's that. And if you ain't going that direction, I just don't see any match possible that's gonna like rock my dick off to make me want to give a fuck. Because unless that
Yeah.
match comes, it's not happening.
They missed Rock Cody. Certainly for Mania. That's not a Mania match anymore.
Right?
We'll probably never see The Rock
blew it.
ever again.
No,
That's
we're gonna.
maybe that's true.
I think Rock plus.
We'll see him tomorrow, probably.
Pissed.
What'd you say, Jose?
I think Rock just making Triple H piss.
Probably.
Like I said, I pointed out he didn't thank him in his review. Can you imagine, man, your pettiness just straight up changes an entire industry like that. Come on. You'd think you'd have more social responsibility for that.
It's all
What?
money,
And
man.
especially because of the legacy you're ruining for
It's
yourself.
all money. Nah, his legacy's fine.
Oh,
I don't know.
Rock's
Yeah.
Rock's untouchable. Let's
Yeah,
be
he's
real
the
honest.
Rock.
That's
I
why.
mean, I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the
But this,
Rock.
I'll take
but
that.
that's the problem with it. Is like
Should
he
we hold him
comes in.
accountable though? But I guess not.
Of course we have to, but nobody will. Nobody got the balls to say it because he's
Nobody
making
does.
fucking movies. But let's be real. He comes in one day and he wants to do this for a couple of weeks and he gets the fuck out, does some stupid ass movie. And then when they finally trying to get their fucking train back on the track, he comes in, he's like, you know what? Fuck y'all motherfuckers again. Let's go this way.
Yeah.
And Triple H is
He-
let's be honest. You could tell that's what happened. That's why it happened last year, and they came with some bullshit trying to fix it. And you saw they did it at the Royal Rumble, and he gave you this bullshit. It was all rushed. Like you could see last SummerSlam going to now where it was kind of leading. Everybody was just enjoying the ride because it was this long process. We're getting to story to story to story. And then Rumble come out the fucking blue. We got John Cena turning heel. We got this Rock fucking doing the fucking thing with his fingers around his neck, and then he's gone.
He's
I'm
gone.
like, the fuck?
Exactly. In all respect to The Rock, I mean, listen, a movie's a movie, but even for
True, but
me
then,
with my dad,
but
like what movie he could have definitely, put this on his calendar. I could go to this. Not for, Moana 3.
Even if it's not a match, he could have just been a part of
Right,
whatever was
Exactly.
happening.
Like that's where
exactly.
that's where you almost admire. Like you really must have went out of your way to not go
Yeah.
to this, you know?
Sorry, it's my dog's. It's my
Right.
dog's bar mitzvah. I can't
Right?
go.
It you can tell also it didn't make any sense. Like even Raw first on Netflix. Oh, Cody Rhodes is my best friend.
Yes,
Blah blah blah.
best
I
friend.
felt like for like 3 weeks of that storyline, I feel like I just been Bill Cosby. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it didn't make sense to me at all.
No, I agree.
Right. And it kills the vibe of, this industry trying to
Exactly. You
grow.
can tell literally that moment. Netflix on Raw fucked everything up because you had Seth and fucking CM Punk
Mhm.
going into like WrestleMania. They were like, nah, fuck it. Let's give
We're
it the
gonna do it
first
for
day of Raw, a fucking Monday Night Raw. Fuck it. Like you had Sokoa versus Roman. You know what? Fucking take that too with you. Like you had it all the WrestleMania matches. They're like, you know what? Fuck it. We can fucking whip up a card in 90 days for y'all,
Yeah.
and you're gonna love it. And that's what they thought. And now the bad guys coming in, everybody thinks it's trash. Period.
Right. And it's not even good. And apparently the Raw reviews are terrible. Reckon I don't think it's
I don't-
easy. Luckily you have the early streaming industry
Yeah.
that doesn't look that bad, but
That and
It's
also
below
it's
expectations.
it's also hard to
Yeah, it's
people will
streaming.
watch people will watch it on a Tuesday. Like
Yeah.
it's just not the
Exactly.
same. It's hard to
Right.
judge by streaming, but yeah.
Exactly. It's gonna take 2 decades to figure that out. But
shit.
it's just the difference of where we thought the industry was going a year ago to now,
Yes.
that's what's just the most
a
disappointing part.
year ago we were far more high on WWE, and in fairness, I've said, or it's been said, that wrestling's a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Yeah.
of real
Mhm.
life, and this is essentially the thing that I wrote about the John Cena story, and that's true, and so we've seen the year we've all had since last WrestleMania. Is it any wonder that the bad guys won both main events? Betrayal in both main events, and these triumphant heroes went down with a fucking whimper. Not even in a blaze of glory, a whimper. If that doesn't describe our society from last WrestleMania to this one, then I don't know what does.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know either, man, but we'll be covering to get it together at least. So that'll complete our WrestleMania 41 review and instant reaction. We're back at it with another tweet cap on Tuesday. A NBA playoffs, some NBA playoffs talk throughout the week. We have an NFL draft to get ready for. A preview and reaction this week, another tweet cap on Friday, and all the other great things in life to enjoy. So even if WrestleMania sucked, remember, we don't. So see you very
You
soon
don't,
with it.
folks. You don't. Unless you're from Las Vegas, then tonight
Yes.
you
I love Vegas, though.
do. There we go. Matt loves Vegas. So
All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.
see you later.
See ya.